Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Get in the chat. Let's see who's here and what we're going to do tonight. Okay. If I don't get any response in the chat, I'm going to close it up. I need to know I'm talking to somebody. Randy, how you doing, man? You missed the lesson last night. Glad that you made it tonight. I made a few announcements last night, and I'm going to do them right now again. Next week, I'm waiting for some fake books. And we're going to start working on Charlie Parker and John Coltrane and Dizzy Gillespie tunes, okay? I'm waiting for the books. I'm going to do the transcriptions. And what we're going to do, we're going to take it from counting, reading, humming, and swinging. All the tunes from the syncopation book and the stick control book. And then occasionally we'll work from the Shafee book for some hand exercises, some rock patterns, some linear concepts, and some odd times. So that's coming, and it's coming sometime next week. I just reset my drums up. I didn't get a chance to really tune them today, nor yesterday. I will have them tuned by tomorrow evening. Anyway, do you have anything specific, Randy, you'd like to go over? Because I want to work at it as syncopation book and the stick control book. It's more or less, it's going to help add to the concepts of the AABA sections of tunes. The one tune I really want to get into is a John Coltrane tune called A Moment's Notice. It's a very strange kind of structure, and that will help everybody. Okay, so in the past lessons, I've done a vamp with the left hand, straight eighth notes. I played the bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4. I played the hi-hat 2 and 4, like so. 1. Let me take it off snares. Go. So what I'm doing, I'm counting. What does no sir mean? I don't understand. Why did you write in no sir? Anyway, if we go to the stick control book first, what I've taught in the past was to do the vamp with the eighth notes, okay, and reference off the stick control book, playing all the rights, say, on your floor tom-tom. They sound terrible, I apologize. They're all muffled. So, if I took line 1, I'm gonna reference off the line, I'm gonna leave all the lefts out, I'm gonna play all the rights on the floor tom-tom. Oh, okay. Sorry. So, the first line is written 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to eliminate the lefts, so that's going to give me 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're going to play that now onto the floor tom-tom. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Against the pattern, against the eighth note vamp. And notice I'm playing the bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm playing the hi-hat on 2 and 4, heel and toe. But I'm blending or feathering the bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not, we're not playing heavy metal or rock or whatever. It's not that. It's blended in musically. All right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I taught in the past. Now, we're going to do something a little different to expand on that, to give us some more coordination and more control. We're going to take the first line of the stick control book again, and we're going to play all the rights on the floor tom-tom. This time, we're going to not eliminate the lefts. We're going to substitute the lefts for the bass drum. So if I just did that, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm more or less pronouncing that bass drum. That's a linear concept. But this is not, this exercise or development process is not linear. So what I'm going to do is nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So instead of having, now we go. Now we have you can move it around. I have all these drums. Sorry about the tuning. Okay? Now, there's 2 more additional exercises for this, but I don't want to get into it tonight. Instead of just playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're going to play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So we're going to go to them soon, but not right tonight. So we have the 2 ways of doing this. Second way, first way. You understand that, Randy? That's from the stick control book. Now we go to line 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now it just reverses itself. We're going to have the lefts now are the bass drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 3, rights are the bass drum. Lefts are anyway, that's the most confusing thing about this particular concept. What was what? So let's stay with the rights up here and the lefts down here. So line 3 would be so now you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 3 without the bass, without the substitution, just the rights on the floor tom-tom. Now I edit it. All right, line 5. Let's skip 4. Line 5. Remember, all the rights are this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So in essence, what you're doing is you're playing a paradiddle between the floor tom-tom and the bass drum. Against this pattern. Without the foot, foot's on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Here you go, line 5. Just 2 different ways. And that's from the stick control book. And we're going to go to the syncopation book. This becomes not tricky, but you know, you need to know how to read. And we're going to start off simple. All right? My floor tom. I got to get my music stand set up. Let's go to page 10. Simple pattern. Page 10, you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Excuse me. So if I was to play the vamp and play all the rights here, what we're going to do now is we're going to make it a straight line of eighth notes. Wherever there's not an eighth note, you're going to play the bass drum. You have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Against the vamp. So on and so forth. Something very different. You know, it's like you go to the local drum teachers, they're computer programmers by day, carpenters or electricians, or they're a cashier, they work in the hardware store, whatever it might be. And they take a gig teaching a couple nights a week in the music store. And they open up the syncopation book and you're on page 10 and you learn it like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and not a problem, that's right. But then you go to the next page, you get to the end of the book, you close it, you go to another book. That's pretty shallow and that's not very creative and showing you really what the syncopation book is meant to do. It has many, many things to do. It's a great teacher, just like the stick control book. I always say the syncopation book is the stick control book. It's like without the additional notes. I'll elaborate on that one time, but right now I don't. I want to go back to the stick control book, all right? I mean, you know, I just did one line. You could take any page. You have the syncopation book in front of you, Randy? We go to page 30 if you have it. Syncopation book, page 30. Just another way to do it. You know, everybody looks at, we count mathematically, if we're on page 30, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're learning how to read and the note values inside of the time signature. And that's very mechanical, but that's necessary. You need to understand that. Line 1 of page 30 is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and simple. So now what? You know how to read an eighth note rest and an eighth note and 3/4 notes. Now what are you going to do with it? You want to develop it in the road of musicality. So now you know how to count it. The next thing is to hum it. Womp, bop, bop. We're going to do it syncopated when I hum it. Or no, we'll do it straight up and down. Bop, 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 bop. Now, thinking like that and humming it, I'm not a singer, just bear with that. It takes another dimension. Bop, 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 bop. Okay? Now, if I said, play that over and over again, but just play the bass drum on 1. You're developing something entirely different. This really works very well when you swing it. But I'm just taking you from the basics, the mathematics, understanding of notations, the value of the time signature, to counting, to playing, to humming. And then we're going to swing it. And that's what the John Coltrane tunes are going to be about, and the Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. That's going to be one hell of a journey. Lots of practicing, but you stay on one tune for a while, you go on a gig and you play that, you're going to smack it around, man. You're going to nail it really good. So it's really, a great approach, I think. You know, it's worked for me. It's worked for all the students I've taught. And they come back with some new ideas with me, and we go over and we have a good time. But that's the way I think it should be taught, on the different levels, the different platforms, and where it's going to go. Now, there's so many different things you can do. So that being said, let's go back to the stick control book, okay? And we'll get back to these pages again in the syncopation book. Now, we just did an eighth note vamp. And we played all the rights on the bass drum, on the boom-ba-ding, the floor tom-tom, because we were eliminating. And then we played, we filled in the blank where the eighth note was with the bass drum. Who's this? Okay, now we're going to take that and we're going to play triplets and we're going to swing the line. You know, it's like swinging the line is, instead of playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're going to play 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. And we're going to play the triplet vamp. We're going to play the line, eliminating the lefts with the right hand on the floor tom-tom. 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the... It's a good workout for the hand. Now, what are we going to do with the lefts? We're going to swing it. So now we're going to still have all the rights on the floor tom-tom as 1 and the 2 and 3 and the 4 and the lefts, the bass drum. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the... against the triplet vamp. Get that one, Randy? I'm waiting on 2 more books from Amazon. I got this one in the mail yesterday. This is Charlie Parker. He has a load of his tunes in here, all his transcriptions, and I will be writing them out, okay? And we're going to be working with them. I have another book, 2 more books coming. One is for John Coltrane, like this, and the other one is for Dizzy Gillespie. Now, they're all jazz standards. You go out on the gig, you go to a jam session, and you're going to be called upon to play them. Do you understand everything I've been doing so far, Randy? And the objective? Now, I'm locked in when I'm doing that, the bass drum in the right hand on the floor tom-tom, but you can move it around all you want. I've been trying to get all the PDFs, which we will get, for these lessons. I've just been overwhelmed, tired, and I do need a vacation, at least a week off. I don't know what week that will be, maybe the first week of August, I'm not certain. And last night I made the announcement about Facebook. Now, I don't want to create a problem. I don't want to demand anything. For what I'm doing, my site and this site is free. But it takes a tremendous amount of time. I love what I do. But here's what I'm going to do on Facebook. I'm thinking of it. I'm going to put it out there and see if the members will go for it. Now, I do a lot of teaching and writing and practicing during the day besides doing the broadcast. I do have a family I have to take to the basketball, to the karate, to the beach, you know, take care of the garden, mow the lawn, so on and so forth. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the big people in... Yeah, you can play the right hand on the right cymbal, Randy, okay? You can play it any place you want as long as it fits into the music. You be creative, that's a good one. And I'll show you how to do that, how I do it. Again, what I'm going to do on Facebook is make an announcement. Now, I get all these questions on Facebook. How do I get faster hands? How do I develop jazz independence? What is linear? What exercises do you have for linear? What are structures of tunes? And it's so difficult to get into the room and answer the questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer everybody in the Facebook groups, and the one group is hitting now 83,000 members. I'm going to ask them if they would go for this. I will do 2 lessons a day to address all the questions. Now, for me to do 2 lessons for the day, and that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm going to take Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off to address how do I develop a better left hand? How do you develop jazz patterns? So on and so forth. You know, whatever the question might be. I'm going to ask for a donation. It's not mandatory. It's entirely up to the individual. Send $1, send $5, send 10, whatever you want, you think is the right thing. Or just join my site, mattpatelalivelessons.com. I think that's a pretty good idea, and I think that's pretty fair and reasonable. I'm not charging anybody, but I'm presenting it as a donation. And if that's what, you know, they feel in their heart that, hey man, this guy's worth at least $5 or $1 or $10 or $20 or whatever, or they could just join the site. You know, you can mix it up between, let's go to what you were doing, talking about there, playing the ride cymbal. You know, if I'm doing triplets, or the bell of the cymbal, you can do whatever you want, you mix it up. However you think it's going to fit musically. Because we're going to start playing the melodies down from Impressions, Blue Train, Billy's Bounce. Wow, that's a beautiful tune, but there's so many notes in it. But we're going to have a whole lot of fun. We're going to have a whole lot of development. I will be addressing questions. I will be sending PDFs out. And I think that might work. What do you think, Randy? I have another angle, a side angle, I have an overhead angle. But everything's going to be fixed, Randy, tomorrow, I hope. I'm planning on it, spending the day inside of the studio doing that. He's staying off of Facebook. But anyway, give me a chance. This week there's not going to be any PDFs. We'll start some tunes next week. We'll work on a tune. We'll show you how developing in the syncopation book and the stick control book, okay, are going to help you develop these tunes. Anyway, I'm going to put, if there's anybody that's watching that would like PDFs of the up-and-coming lessons, the agenda, you email me. I'll put my email there. Okay, hold on a second. Oh man, what the heck? Hold on. What is that? Sorry, that's wrong. Hold on. Let me put that back in there. Who is this? UVCSDF. Those triplets are out of tempo? What are you talking about? Elaborate on that. I'm curious. I'm playing triplets with the right hand. Left hand. What is out of tempo? Here's the tempo. I don't see anything out of tempo. Do you see anything out of tempo, Randy? Hello? Somebody told me I'm out of tempo. What tempo is he talking about? I don't understand that. Oh, well. Makes a statement and goes away. My triplets are out of tempo. Unreal. All right, well, hey. What can I say? I'll practice with a metronome from now on. Okay, with all that being said, we're going to call it a night. I will be on my site tomorrow evening. All right? That's, let me put it in here. At 7:30. Monday and Wednesday on my site. Tuesday and Thursday on the YouTube channel, the site that you're on right now. Here's the site. Now, anybody wants the PDFs, you have my email. Anybody wants to come tomorrow night, 7:30, that's the site I'll be on. It's free. Now, I'm really curious about somebody telling me my triplets are at a tempo. Then I guess. Maybe there's a delay in the system. Maybe there's a delay in the system, perhaps. Oh, boy. Hold on. I guess I have to get the old metronome out. Now, there's a delay in the system. Maybe you're not receiving it correctly to make a statement like that. Anyway, tomorrow night, my channel. Guys, have a good night.